All right. Each time I see that endorsement, I have no other reason not to laugh. To be honest, those two
Exactly.
women are
Ah,
so amazing. You know,
amazing.
it was putting them on the spot. They are not used to television in
Exactly.
that sense. And let's act it out. And Papacy was all smiles. And
Well,
Irene
it
was
was
like,
fun. It
okay.
was
I mean,
so
she
much
does
fun.
that all the time.
It was so much fun.
Great.
All right.
So yeah, what do we have next? You're
All
joining
right,
us right now.
very first guest on the show is right here, seated, and is no other person, but his name is Pastor Sheung Oluwatumibi. Is Anointed Treasure. That's his stage name. He's a gospel artist, and he's into some other things. So we are here to chat with him and then to just have fun. So, hello, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, ma? I'm fine.
He's the deputy governor of Gospel Musician Association of Nigeria, Goma, you said.
All right.
Yes.
And it's quite amazing because where you said hello, good morning, and you responded at the
did.
same time, it had to do with the fact that you feel very comfortable.
Yeah,
with
Very,
it,
very.
we've always found gospel music to be a genre of music that suits the soul. A lot of people don't know that music itself is some form of therapy, and the best forms of therapy actually comes from the world of the gospel musician. So will you share with us a little bit of how has it been for you? I mean, you're a pastor, you're a gospel musician, you are. What exactly is the correlation?
Even aside from that, in order for you to also answer this question,
Yes.
alongside with this, like most pastors are also gospel musician. Most pastors also be a musician or a gospel musician. Please.
Yeah, exactly. Gospel music is a spirit in its own way, because it lifts soul, it heals wounded hearts. I have a calling of God for about 30 years ago into gospel music. I started pastorate calling 10 years ago, but both of them go a long way. They go pari passu. They go with each other. And recently, I have a mandate of God to really focus more on gospel music, because it has always been the brain behind my success in evangelical ministry. When I sing, people get delivered. When I sing, people that are sad, their souls are lifted. The hopeless get their hope restored. And God kept on reminding me I must go out worldwide to make sure that people enjoy and they get the message of my music. That's why I am going all out to work in that music ministry. And if I am ministering, even on the pulpit, in a crusade, if I have not sung any song, in fact, they will say, "Daddy, please sing. Daddy, please sing. Daddy, please sing." So
We are also asking right now. I think it won't be a huge deal for me to
No,
say,
but
Daddy, please sing.
I don't know, because
Right
I was
here.
going to say also that you need deliverance. Now that it says when it sings, people get delivered.
And
And your
aside from that,
life needs such deliverance. You
Nigerians
should
actually
sing
need
so
the
that,
hope. You
so that she
understand?
gets delivered
we are
from,
even looking at a situation that we will have a national praise concert. Anchored.
Fantastic.
Yes, we are looking for a way, because when you have prayed and you can't get results, you should resort to singing praises to God. And when you sing, because praises is the only food that God accepts, according to Psalm 51. If you can sing, if you look at the scripture very well, when the kings of those days, when they are at a loose end, they resort to singing praises, and God answers by fire.
Okay.
So,
But I've always preferred worship to praise. For me, I think praise has more in terms of the entertainment value, but worship has more intricate, intrinsic value, spiritual background.
Yes,
that is my own opinion.
it depends on the minister.
Okay.
It depends on the minister. When you sing in spirit, in the spirit, it's not you are singing to entertain. When you sing in the spirit, even if you are singing a warfare song, heaven will open. If you are singing praises, heavens will open. If you are singing worship, heavens will open. It depends on the disposition of the minister. If you are really in spirit, there is nothing that comes out of your mouth that the heavens will not accept.
Okay. Majority of people believe that it's not even like majority of people right now believe that gospel songs or gospel musics are not, they are not actually making the wave. They're not, they're not making the wave just the way the other, the secular songs are. You understand? And then people keep wondering, how do gospel artists feed themselves? If older people want to venture into gospel music industry, how do they feed themselves? Because they don't get endorsements like the secular artists do. They don't get, aside from being called to come and minister in churches, crusades, and the rest of them, they don't get called or given, just like the way the other artists have been, given that particular focus or attention by brands and companies and the rest of them. You understand? So how do you think gospel artists are actually making, making, what's that word now?
Wave.
Yeah, making wave, I can say, or having to just say, yes, they're earning, they're making a living out of what they do.
Well, that is part of why the Holy Spirit has instructed me to go all out to make sure that we start breaking that yoke. Many people, they are interested in what they can get. That is why they are not putting in their best. But if you give what the Holy Spirit has instructed you to do, if you give, you will receive. If you are really singing spiritual song, God will crown your effort. Mm-hmm. People will be on the lookout for you everywhere. Mm-hmm. And the kind of my music that is coming out by the end of this November, mm-hmm. I know they will soon be playing it. They have been playing it in every other television station. It's sings. Can I sing now?
Please go ahead.
Please go ahead.
I had that in mind. Say, you know what? I would like to have a taste of this your song. So please go ahead.
Ẹ ti tóbi tó, Ọlọ́run àgbàlagbà. Ẹ ti tóbi tó, Ọlọ́run àgbàlagbà. Kí ni bá fi ṣàkàwé rẹ̀, arúgbó ọjọ́ o. Ta ni bá fi ṣàkàwé rẹ̀, aládé ewúrà. Ẹ ti tóbi tó, Ọlọ́run àgbàlagbà. It's on TVC, it's on LTV, it's on MITV, everywhere.
It's Yoruba language.
It's Yoruba, but we translated it to English.
Okay. But okay, so you sing other? Is it only Yoruba?
I sing English.
Okay.
I sing English.
You sing Calabari?
I knew I was going to ask
unless
that.
you want to teach me Calabar.
Oh, no, not Calabar. Calabari. I will teach you Calabari. It's a Jaw language from the Niger Delta.
No problem. If you teach me.
I would like to hear that voice.
I am willing to get all Nigerian languages and I can convert them to song.
Oh, fantastic.
So I'm a composer, I'm a songwriter. And
so you write all of your lyrics?
Yes.
Where do you get inspiration from? What inspires you?
In fact, I don't sleep. Sometimes the Holy Spirit can wake me up by 1, 2, and I start singing. I have my small phone. If it comes, I quickly record. So in the morning, and if I'm going to studio, I only go to studio with my choruses. So when I get into the studio and I listen to sound, music, keyboard, I start singing.
Beautiful.
I start singing, and with the spirit, I sing by inspiration. I don't sing by what I say. It comes through the Spirit of God.
Fantastic.
So that's my kind of music, and I know by the time everybody is listening to it, they want to. Yes, they want to get it.
Okay. Well, before we go, definitely, for me, from my end, I have one question to just ask you. Majority of people believe that gospel artists are uptight. What's your opinion on that?
They are what?
They're uptight.
How do you mean uptight?
Uptight.
Is that they don't
like the
rooms
swag, like
they don't jive.
They don't jive.
It has to be the holy
people and then the way
SU.
they dress and all that. Like people just believe that, okay, you know what? Because of this person, we would rather not have this person in this particular gathering. What's your opinion on that?
Well, he doesn't look uptight. He's all
he's all glammed up.
It depends.
He's all glammed up.
It depends on your exposition. It depends on, do I say education? Because if you say you are proclaiming Christ, you must be attractive. People must want to know that this person, if Christ is what he is proclaiming, we are seeing Christ in him. So with me, I don't buy the idea of discouraging people from coming to Christ. I want to encourage people to come to Christ.
And that makes a lot of sense.
So
and of course, your style and all
in
that
fact,
matters.
the invitation is to all are called to because the music I am singing is not for a particular religion. I sing for everybody. Even if you say you are a free thinker, traditionalist, when you listen to my music, you want to listen to it because it is from God. Everybody believes we are all created by God.
Of course, Pastor Oluwatomibi, that is amazing. We are all created by God, and that is the ideology we should actually have ourselves and relationship guided by. That way we need not to be violent against one another. And music is the food of the soul, and as I say, if it's the food of the soul, play on and sing so much more like Pastor Oluwatomibi has been doing quite well. On that note, we want to say a big thank you very much for joining us on Morning Ride.
Thank you very much.
Great. And then we'll be looking into the world of sports to see exactly what is going on in football and racing. And nobody's hearing so much about boxing. We have our sports on the go and basketball as well. Segment